I was the maid of honor to a bridezilla. She made everyone's life hell but then paid the price. I was a bridesmaid to my ex's sister. So before I truly get into it, I need to explain my ex's sister. She's a pathological liar whose tales include being the official makeup artist for Skrillex when she was 13. She didn't know how to do makeup until she was 27, when I taught her. She claims to have slept with Tom Cowlitz at Tokyo Hotel when she was 15 and that Bill Cowlitz gave her his number but she lost it. And on a way darker note, when a guy from high school turned her down, she tried to tell everyone that he had a disease. When another dude turned her down after hooking up with her, she lied about rope. She constantly lies about having bipolar disorder to justify behavior and piggybacks off of other people's problems to gain sympathy. For example, at one point she discovered I had very recently lost a baby. She then, instead of consoling me, told me about her own miscarriage, that became a termination within 20 minutes of finding out I had to medically terminate, for 2 hours in graphic detail. The details changed often. She also believes she is a professional singer and has tried out for The Voice several times, and was rejected each time. She also is absolutely convinced every man wants her, so she's always trying to play weird mind games with dudes. Her husband 100% supports everything she does, and she is absolutely controlling over him to the point where if any girl talks to him she will insert herself into the conversation. We'll call them Shannon and Mark. His sister, the bride, and her fiancé had been engaged for nearly 4 years, and together overall for 8. They saved up basically nothing. All they did was joint host a karaoke night once a week. They lived rent-free in his parents' garage, and both sets of parents paid for whatever they wanted. Neither of them wanted to find better work. When Shannon asked me to be her maid of honor, this is exactly what she told me. I technically already asked Haley to be my maid of honor, but she hasn't been involved with any of the planning and we've been fighting. So Haley will still be the maid of honor, but you'll help me plan. You're really good at it. I agreed because whatever, at the time I was dating her brother. I wanted to be supportive. So we have less than a month to plan as they decided to begin wedding preparations 3 weeks until the wedding. They decide they want to have the wedding in her parents' backyard, so building commences. My ex, his father, the groom's brother, his best man, and at times myself are all building the arches, painting things, helping set up the walkway and platform, hanging lights and strands of rose petals. The bride, the groom, and her mom all stay in the bedroom getting baked on brownies and planning. During this entire time, if we weren't moving fast enough, Shannon would start throwing fits and yelling at people and crying, saying we were ruining her wedding. During this planning, Shannon pulls me aside and accuses me of trying to F her husband and saying I'd been in love with him for years. She said this while on cloud 9, by the way. Mid-accusation, she forgot what she was talking about and I had to remind the speech what she was accusing me of. Either way, this is incredibly far from the truth, as I had found him revolting and insufferably annoying. About a week and a half before the wedding, Shannon tells me I need to put together a group chat between her, myself, Haley, the actual maid of honor, and Deanna, her future brother-in-law's girlfriend, that Shannon actually thought was low-class and ghetto and hated, and organize a shopping day to get bridesmaids' dresses. Haley never even bothers responding and Deanna says she'll be there. Shannon rolls her eyes and says she doubts it. The day of, Shannon picks me up at 7 a.m. so we can get Starbucks and girl talk and get ready for the others at her parents' house. And no one showed up. Haley was absolutely unreachable, and lived across the street from Shannon's parents, so we knew she was home. Shannon went and banged on Haley's front door for 10 minutes to no avail, and Deanna didn't show up at all. Shannon was crushed. I felt terrible and we went to the mall. Shannon kept insisting her shade was Dusty Rose without ever choosing to elaborate on what that meant and threw a hissy fit whenever I brought out anything she didn't like. At one point she pulled out a bridesmaid bouquet that she made and started shoving it up to random dresses. I pulled out this maxi dress and it matched. She was over the moon. I asked for the dress in 2 other sizes, and it was the last they had in stock. It wasn't on the website because it was on clearance and out of season. Normal people would accept defeat but not Shannon. No, Shannon had me call every Windsor within 60 miles to find this dress for Haley and Deanna. And then had me drive with her to go get them. I had to drive 47 miles to get a damn dress and sit through an awkward lunch with Shannon's grandma, who loathes me and purposely called me by the wrong name to get on my nerves. The kicker was I couldn't afford my $30 dress because I had just paid a bunch of bills. Shannon offered to pay, and then immediately afterward handed me the receipt and told me I owed her everything including tax and gas money for picking me up, which she had also offered to do. This becomes a theme because the next day she had us all meet up to buy shoes. Haley and Deanna make it this time, and Shannon knew I was still broke, so she covered the $20 shoes, handed me the receipt, and told me to pay her back. Then she dragged me to a beauty supply store so she could buy hair extensions. She wanted 18-inch hair extensions and she wanted them to increase volume on her very damaged, slightly melted platinum blonde hair that she had been bleaching by herself for 3 years. She fancied herself a hairstylist because of Google. I went to school for it and she would constantly deride and berate me when I'd offer her tips. and then regurgitate them back to me later as if she'd always known. She argued with me about prices, bought cheap hair, and then handed me the stack to sew into clip-ins for her. And then tells me she's taking it to a professional stylist to have them color treated to match her effed up hair. She did not offer me any sort of payment for this service, considered it a favor to the bride, and then told me I still owed her for the shoes and dress because she had to spend $90 of her own money on her extensions. At this point I know you guys might be thinking, wait, you said so yourself, she only worked one night a week. Yes she did. But his parents, and her parents, paid for the entire wedding. Literally everything. They didn't invest a dime. She also took in enough in one night that I made in a week. She had the money. She's the kind of person who will divide the cost of a pack of cigarettes by the amount of cigarettes in the pack and then Venmo you the cost per cig you bum off her, even if she smoked half of yours the day before. All this happened before the actual wedding or even the bachelorette party, which was a disaster.